not just about doing pull-ups, push-ups and sit-ups. It also needs lots and lots of smartness and sharpness. So here's Uncle Jake and guide for children to make them faster, smarter and stronger. Yeah guys, you're right. I'm talking about The Way of the Warrior Kid Part 2, which is Marc's mission, written by Jocko Willink and with super cool illustrations by John Bozak. So if you haven't seen my previous video, let me tell you about the author. Jocko Willink is a leadership instructor. He's a retired US Navy SEAL. He has an experience of 20 years in the Navy SEAL, and this book, which is the Marc's mission, is sequel to From Wimpy to Warrior, the Navy SEAL Way. So if you haven't seen my previous video, the link is somewhere around here. Please click it and watch that video and come back to this video. So if you don't want to do that, let me tell you a summary about that book. So there was a kid whose name is Marc, and he's nearly bad at each and everything. He don't know his multiplication tables, he don't know how to do pull-ups, he don't know how to do push-ups, he don't know how to do exercises, and he's bullied by a kid whose name is Kenny Williamson in his school. So then arrives his Uncle Jake, who transforms and makes him from a wimp to a warrior through the teachings of a Navy SEAL. So now he's still practicing that things like eating healthy food, practicing jiu-jitsu, waking up 5:30 a.m. in the morning and doing workout and all the stuffs like this. So let's get into today's book. 6th grade was going on great until the last day. Do you know guys what happened? Yes. Marc ended up in a place where he shouldn't have been. The principal's office. Mr. Warrior Kid with his warrior code was in the front of principal's office. Why is that so? So Marc has did a really foolish thing. So there's a kid whose name is Nathan James, a guy with 2 first names. So before I introduce this new character, did you guys notice in the previous video that there was a bully too, whose name is Kenny Williamson? So this Kenny Williamson hurted people physically, and he hurted mainly Marc physically. And in this book, Nathan James hurted Marc mentally and through his words. So Marc, hearing these words, everyone will lose their control. And Nathan James, what did he call to Marc? Plate face. As Marc's face was perfect round and it was quite flat, he would call it as plate face. This was very annoying for Marc, and he got angry, frustrated, and he lost his temper. So what did he do? He did a really foolish thing. He saw a papier-mâché pumpkin and he threw the pumpkin on Nathan James. So Nathan James fell flat on the floor, and that pumpkin just ricocheted from Nathan to Mrs. Carpenter, Marc's teacher. So now Marc was in a great trouble and he went to the principal's office. So this is the reason why Marc went to the principal's office. And when he went into the principal's room, principal just called the home number, and Marc was relieved because there was nobody to pick the call because nobody was in the house. But somebody picked the call and principal started talking with them. Then Marc got to know that it was Uncle Jake. He arrived the same day when Marc was in the school. So now Marc was in a great trouble and he was embarrassed because his Uncle Jake, who's world's #1 uncle, now was going to take him from the principal's office. Marc just told himself, I'm so stupid. And when Uncle Jake arrived, he took Marc to Mrs. Carpenter and Nathan James and made Marc to apologize to them. But Marc resisted. But you can't resist with an uncle who's Uncle Jake. Or uncles like Uncle Jake, you can't even resist. You can't just stop doing that. So what Uncle Jake decides, Marc has to do that even if he liked it or not. So while on the way, Mark told what all happened in these things, like what all happened, how would this happen, like this. Mark also had other problems which he thought that they would go in the summer, and he told it to Uncle Jake. The first problem is about the summer camp. He thought of catching up with his friends and working out with Uncle Jake. But due to the stupid summer camp, he had to do max problems in the camp, and it's just like school in the summertime. And there was a special guest in summer camp. Guess who? Yes, it was Nathan James. He also was just enrolled in summer camp. The next problem of Mark was a bike. He had a bike, but he ruined it because he didn't take care of it. And he wanted a new bike, which was costing him $200, the Bentley, the latest model. So his mom couldn't afford it because it was so costly, and giving a costly cycle to a kid who already wasted some money on a cycle just can be more loss for the parents. So another problem is jiu-jitsu. Uncle Jake thought that Mark loved jiu-jitsu. Mark loved it. But what was the problem is that his Coach Adam, the coach of jiu-jitsu, wanted Mark to participate, and he wanted to compete with other people in the tournament. So Uncle Jake asked, why is that a problem? Mark said that this is not my style. I just don't like to fight with people, and I am scared of losing. But the main problem from these problems is about Nathan James. So Nathan James also attended this summer camp, and he was always ruined these summer camps. So Mark was unhappy. Whenever he met Nathan James, he gets angry and frustrated and loses his temper. So Uncle Jake teaches Mark how to control his temper, but it also didn't work. The next day when he went to the camp, he shouted at Nathan James that, "Shut up, you idiot!" And the whole summer camp, all the children, all the counselors heard it, and one of the counselor took Mark to the counselor office, and they talked, and they said that you should not do this like that, this like this, like blah blah blah. Usually kids like Nathan enjoy and have fun and pleasure when we get into their trap. That is going to make us become mad and frustrated, because they call us by names, and those names just are really bad. So that names makes us mad and frustrated. And when we just ignore these names and take it light with a smile, it ends in the same time. So if you just hear the names and just have a smile and just ignore it, then the people like Nathan will stop teasing you. So this is one of the lessons which Mark learned, and it was really helpful for him because he could overcome these bullies just like this. So there's an extract in this book which teaches Mark what all Nathan did, and how to control his tempers, and I love to tell you all guys. So please hear this. So here comes the extract. Uncle Jake then asked me, "Has he ever punched you?" This is a strange question. "No," I told Uncle Jake. "What about kicked? Has Nathan kicked you?" "No, Uncle Jake, he has never kicked me." "What about slapped or scratched or bit you?" "No, Nathan hasn't slapped or scratched or bit me." "Okay then, Mark, what has he done to you?" This question had me quiet for minutes. What has Nathan done to me? I could barely remember when it all started. Well, he makes fun of me. He calls me by names. "Oh yeah, that's right," Uncle Jake says. "Plate face." "That's not funny, Uncle Jake," I told him. "Well, maybe you don't think so, but it's kind of funny." "Not really," I told him again. "You might think it was funny if you didn't take it so seriously. Think about it. Your face is a little roundish and a little flat, like a plate. So plate face." If you just let it be funny, you will see that it is funny. But you are being too sensitive about it. A warrior can't let a little name calling upset them. Warriors have more important things to be concerned about. Things that matter. Someone making fun of you or calling you a name isn't important enough. Just deal with it and move on. Okay, but it annoys me. How do I just deal with it? That's an easy part. You just laugh. Laugh along with a joke. Instead of getting mad, just think it from a different perspective and laugh. And here's it. There's another secret. Not only will laughing make you feel better, it will also take away the power of the insult. People make fun of other people to seem powerful. As soon as you laugh at yourself, take that power away from them. Try it, you will see. Okay, Uncle Jake, I will try it. This is a beautiful, interesting extract which Uncle Jake says to Marc to teach him to get rid of Nathan. And there's another thing. Sticks and stones can hurt your bones, but words can't hurt you until and unless you take it. So don't take it. Just ignore it. And just don't take it to your heart and don't feel disappointed and depressed. Just laugh along with the joke. Don't just take it and be disappointed and cry along. If you cry, then it is a success to the people who call you by names. And if you just don't cry, it is a defeat to the people who call you by names. So this is an important point for each and every kids who get bullied. Mostly all the kids get bullied. So what about the bike? The bike which Marc had was really ruined. There was a rusty things. The tire was punctured. There was no pedal, no chain, nothing. So Marc reconstructed with his own concept and his innovations. And he made that old rusty cycle from a brand new cycle and named it the Bruiser. It is a really tough name and Marc liked it. So he named it the Bruiser. And what about Nathan? Now there were some things from which Marc can make Nathan a friend. But he couldn't do anything. Nathan was just making Marc as an insult. So there was no way that Marc could make Nathan as a friend. So he decided to do one thing. Show his jiu-jitsu skills to Nathan. And this should be the last. He should never ever come again and never ever should bother me again. So he told this to Uncle Jake. And Uncle Jake said, yes, you can fight. But this should be the final thing. And you should not argue anymore. And when Marc was about to leave, Uncle Jake said, about to leave. Uncle Jake said, wait. Before you fight, just gather some intelligence from Nathan. Like, see what shoe he wears, what backpack he wears, what he brings snacks, all those silly things. Because these silly things are the key to each and every person. So Marc does as Uncle Jake says, and when he got the result, they got to know that Nathan is a really poor boy. He just wears 2 shirts in the whole school year and he wears only 1 pant in the whole school year. And he's really ugly and he has shoes with many holes and he just brings potato chips, which is bad for health, to snacks each and every day. So Uncle Jake, after he got these results, he thought that Nathan could be a poor boy. So they followed Nathan and they got to know that Nathan is truly a poor boy. So Marc thought of doing help to Nathan and try what he could do. But Uncle Jake just gave Marc an idea that you could do that, you could do this, like you could enroll Nathan in jiu-jitsu as Uncle Nathan just likes jiu-jitsu. And they finally made friends. They became friends. Nathan and Marc became friends and finally there's a thing, I'll not tell you that. It's up to you to find out what it is. So when they became friends, oh my god, crazy wind. Oh my. Okay guys, this wind wouldn't budge. Oh, at last it finally stopped. So Nathan, he loved jiu-jitsu. So Uncle Jake and Mark tried to convince Coach Adams for enrolling Nathan. So so they paid $120, and what about the rest money? There was a lot of money to pay, but Mark and Nathan agreed that they would clean the whole academy after each and every one go to their homes. So they did it, and they helped Coach Adam by this thing. And Nathan, this should be a gift to Nathan. That's right. Mark and Nathan just built a cycle just like they built to Mark. So after building it, Nathan named it as the discipline. Uncle Jake asked it, why did you name discipline? So Nathan said that I named it discipline because without discipline, Mark couldn't give me the cycle. Without discipline, I couldn't be friend with Mark. Without discipline, Mark couldn't learn these good habits from you. So Nathan thanked Mark and Uncle Jake. So now comes the jiu-jitsu tournament. Now let's see the highlights. So the first match, which is Mark versus a kid who is 1 year older than him. Mark just bet him and he won in the first match. So now comes semi-finals like thing. The second match, there is a kid who was same age as Mark, and Mark won that too. So now Mark is in the finals. So guess what? Mark lost this time. Even though the kid was 1 year smaller than Mark, 1 year smaller, 1 year bigger, or the same doesn't matter. It just matters about the effort they put and the amount of time which they dedicated to work and do this too. So he lost, but he learned something. Losing just makes you to learn, and you will learn some things, and you will go in the right path, and of course you will win in the next match. So this is a great lesson which you learn from this book. I suggest you guys, please read the book. The link is in the description below. Please click it, and you will go in the homepage of the Amazon or Flipkart and buy it now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to click that like button and press the subscribe button and press the bell icon if you're new. And stay tuned for my next updates. This is not the end. There is another book in this series, which is Way of the Warrior Kid, Where There Is a Will, written by Jocko Willink and illustrated by John Bozak. And I'm going to come soon with that. So stay tuned. So until then, goodbye.